it's crazy, man.
Nearly a year.
Big up to everyone joining us. This is 21 Questions with A-Star in the building right about now. And if you're just joining us, this is the Sit Down Insta Live platform where we get guests on and we just unpack their story. We unpack who they are with 21 questions or more. A-Star has one pass card. You've got one pass card he can use.
Only once.
Only once.
Okay.
One pass card to skip a question, but there or less, I know he'll probably answer all the questions. He's ready to just open up and be an open book. And shout out to you because April 2017 was the first ever sit down and you was the first guest ever.
I'll never forget that day, bro.
You were the first guest ever. And you know what? I'll talk about it in a second, but I never got to review with you how you found that day and how it was for you. But we'll talk about that. I wanted to welcome anyone who is just joining us after this has taken place. If you're watching the replay, welcome, man. Make sure you share, make sure you comment on the IGTV. And anybody watching this now, it's going to be put on IGTV and YouTube and podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, all over the gaff. So make sure you go check out through the link in our bio, all the other episodes that we've done. All right. So let's get it cracking. Let me get this camera straight, hard away, thing set.
Do you have to get a pin thing as well?
A pin
comment or something like that.
It's showing at the top, but let me try it. Let me try one down here.
Also, everyone who's watching
actually,
now,
yeah, everyone
at
the top,
great.
yeah.
Oh, sick.
Hopefully, yeah. So let's start off with you've got a quick fire session. So quick fire session, about 12 questions, just as they come to your head. Answer them. Don't think about them too much. Are you set? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so what's been your best reload ever on a set?
My best reload has to be I was born and raised in Leytonstone. Yeah.
That's easy. So
yeah.
what? So the first time you dropped that, did it get a reload? How did you know you could keep dropping that?
First time I dropped it was the set that we did in 2008, one day after Carnival.
In
Fulton Heath.
Yes, in the studio.
Yeah. That's where I met a lot of you guys for the first time.
Yes.
I didn't meet Serene there for the first time. I met Surrender for the first time.
I met you for the first time.
Yeah, I met you,
Yeah.
you and your brother for the first time. I think I met Brewer for the first time. It was Governor that brought me to that set, and I didn't know anyone. I just said, okay, there's a few guys from Bibles here. But yeah, that's the first time I remember dropping it. After that, I remember dropping it on every set that we was doing, and even the next thing 140 shows. Yeah. That's where I remember dropping it, yeah.
Jeez, I remember that, man. I remember that. I think I swear that set is actually online. It's on iTunes.
Wow. Yeah, it's on the next thing 140 album.
Yeah. Can you remember your best set ever? That was the best reload. Can you remember your best set?
My best set where I know that I just spazzed.
Where you shelled it down.
I can't remember. It might. One of my favorite sets was Uprise Cypher. That's on YouTube.
Oh, come on.
I feel that was a classic, just because I got privileged to organize that.
Yeah.
But that was one of my favorites. Where I thought, man, this is amazing. Where everyone was just in the same room, and that time we was running. We came 3 hours late because we had to go to Croydon to pick up Danny Yeager.
Wow.
And then we got there 3 hours late, and then so it's supposed to be from 6 to 9, and then we got there around 9 o'clock, and it started from 9 till like midnight or something. But that was one of my favorite sets that I can remember. I think I've been part of a lot of sets, so yeah.
That's one that stands out. Nice. When are you the happiest?
A lot of times, but one of the times is in the booth.
Okay. Just recording?
Yeah, that's like a therapy session for me. So
100%. I know that feeling. What's your lockdown cheat meal at the moment? Or over 2020, what was your lockdown cheat meal?
over 2020, I had a lot of cheat meals. But now we're doing veganuary, so we're not doing cheat. Our cheat meals like burger, but like vegan burger. So
what was it in 2020? What was you always going back to?
We was because obviously like Deborah was pregnant during like most of 2020.
Yeah.
So we was like Caribbean food, I guess. I was just Caribbean was my
Come on.
Leytonstone Caribbean was my cheat meal. Yeah.
Come on. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
You said I can't think. Best piece of advice I've ever received is my wife always says it to me. I've never seen a righteous man beg for bread. And she says that to me a lot when it comes to me constantly feeling like I have to chase people when it comes to music and my craft. She absolutely hates it because she's like, you're better than that, and you know, I know what you're capable of, and you know, you should never have to beg for bread. Yeah, that's kind of one of the best advice.
When you hear that, how does it make you feel? Does it help? Does it relax you?
Yeah, it helps. It helps a lot of times, but also because I'm like, I know it's the truth. Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yeah, but you don't get opportunities unless you go out and ask for them, or you know what I'm saying, and all of these things, like staying back at concerts to meet certain artists, and you know, and just what if they see me and recognize me, and you know what I'm saying, she shuts that down, man, because it's just a thing of, you know, she pushes me to know that you don't worry. Do you know what I'm saying? When your time will come, your time will come.
Time will come.
So,
yeah, love it. One of your studio pet peeves, something you can't stand in the studio.
I don't like it when there's bare people in the studio and I'm recording. If I've got a session with an engineer, it's just me and the engineer, or me, the engineer, and people that I brought for my session, like guest artists or someone who's filming, or something like that. I don't like it when there's bare people in the studio and I have to perform because I can't give it my all.
Oh, okay. So you feel you're actually performing?
When I'm in the studio, when there's people there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when it's just me and, for example, Alex E are recording my whole album in his studio. When it's just me and him, it's like he's not there, because obviously he's turned and facing the computer, and the mic is behind him. So it's like it's just me. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So when it's a studio, it's cool when there's people in the room where they're there for the purpose, but more time I just don't like people in the studio. Yeah.
Do you prefer do you prefer a separate booth for the mic, or do you mind being inside the studio with the? If
I've got my own choice, then a separate booth is definitely the best. Yeah.
Trust me. Yeah, I prefer a booth because I can go.
Yeah.
I like being enclosed.
Yeah. But I've got to learn over the years that it's not I used to think I need to be in what's that famous studio called something Road?
Abbey Road.
Abbey Road. I need to be in an Abbey Road studio, and you could be in a bedroom studio and get good quality out of that.
Yeah,
so
true.
For me, it's wherever now, really. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Dubai or London?
Dubai. Yeah, Dubai all day. I wish I was there now.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Favorite item in your wardrobe?
Hoodies.
Okay.
Yeah, with an S. They're just comfy. I don't wear a hood for a bad boy reason. Wearing a hood because my ears are freezing. Yeah. Comfort.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite songs of yours?
Ooh, Doubts with Favour.
Okay, why?
One of my favorite songs that I listen to and I'm like, ooh, wheel it. I think just Favour is someone you can't slack when you go on the track with him. If you do, it will be heard, and people would say, just, you know what I'm saying? So with I think it's just how the track came about, us two sitting down having a conversation, and you know, we always spoke, but we never spoke about that. It was always everything else, but it was like the elephant in the room kind of thing. One day we just sat down in Nando's and we had a conversation about faith and all of that stuff, and then eventually you know, it came out about how he felt about the church and how he felt about faith and all that. And then us going from that to actually writing the lyrics, two sessions in the studio. So one writing session in the studio, one session that we did on FaceTime, going back and forth. Right, I got this 16. What are you writing next? Okay. And then the next one, 2 sessions in the actual studio recording. Listening back to a track and just how we went back to back and how he said something. And it's a skill having to say what you think, but rhyming at the same time and having to go hard, but articulating how you feel. That's a very difficult skill. Yeah. So Favor like showed me how it's done properly. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so 100%. I'll always be grateful for that, man. Yeah.
100%. Big up Wayne Holmes in the building. At the moment, guys, we're just doing a quick fire questions, nothing too long, and then we're going to get into the meat. All right, I've got 2 or 3 more. What's one great thing about Congo?
The fact that I'm speaking to you right now on this device. I don't know if I'd say it's a great thing, but it's an unfortunate. It's bittersweet because I'm speaking to you right now through technology, through this phone, but I know that this phone, the fact that this phone is here and is that here in physical form, had a lot to do with Congo. So it's bittersweet.
Yeah, bittersweet. What do you love most about Supermalt?
I hate Supermalt with all my guts. How dare you ask me that question? How dare you? I hate Supermalt.
Why? What is A-Star, man? I swear this is blasphemy. Why do you hate Supermalt?
Supermalt smells, tastes like death. It's awful, man. It's awful. Supermalt is the worst.
That's it. Smells, you know. All right, last one. What is your proudest moment for you?
Having my daughter, man. Yeah. Seeing her born, that's my always be my proudest moment.
Were you in? Yeah. Oh, we'll get into it. But were you in the delivery room at the time?
I was. Yeah. It literally like in Corona, and they wouldn't let husbands in hospitals for appointments. So most appointments I was waiting outside. But for the delivery, I was in the room.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, that's your quick fire round. Nothing. That's just light work. Big up to everybody that's joined us so far. This is 21 Questions with A-Star. I am your host, IC, and this is the Sit Down platform. Before Sit Down, we were a live Q&A event. We still are, actually. But anti-corona has come, so we're online. And make sure if you're on Clubhouse, also follow the Sit Down UK. We are there as well. This is going to be recorded and put onto YouTube and IGTV. But we've got 38 episodes that you can watch, just like this. Just click the link in our YouTube bio. All right, cool. So I wanted to go back to like the first sit down. You were the guest for the first ever sit down, and I never ever got to ask you like afterwards how you found it, like how you found just being so open and like so vulnerable. So yeah, how did you find it? This was April 2017, guys, the first ever event we had.
That's mad. That was like a few months before I got married. I really enjoyed it, man. I felt like it was, at the time I was saying it's, my phone keeps kind of like dark, like it's going to look,
they do that. Yeah, sometimes with mine as well.
But it won't actually lock off, like it won't just go blank. Okay. I always say that it's one of my favorite things that I've ever done, because just of it's not a show where I'm performing, it was conversation. Do you get what I'm saying? You know, people got to sit down and listen to me, and people came that support my music. Like I had someone come from outside London to come to the event. That stuff, like you can't put a price on that, man. Do you know what I'm saying? And people just to come and hear you speak. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that was huge, and I just got to share my heart behind the music. And you know, I love it. I love it when people can kind of connect the life and music together. Yeah. And I'm someone who always puts my life in my music. So for you, it's kind of people are coming to see it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And yeah, bro, from that day, I sat there and I just said, I see this going huge. So, bro, the sit down is, I don't even think you don't even know like how big it's gonna be. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this is what you've seen so far is nothing compared to what the sit down's gonna be. Trust me.
Oh, I love, man. Thank you. Thank you for taking that leap, man. Because it was like, I remember it was the first one we had done, and I didn't know how it was going to go, but you were just so willing and just so open to do it. And I always say, you always have to understand, every sit down you see afterwards was based on the level of vulnerability that you gave me in that. So every single person that we've had, the level of vulnerability they've shared is because of what you gave as a template. So I was always grateful for that, man. I wanted to ask you, with COVID, how have you managed through COVID? What has got you through COVID?
It's been peak, man. If I didn't have my family, I don't know what, honestly, because we have obviously our daughter now, that's kind of given us a joy to look forward to. Besides that, COVID's just, we've had times where it's like, great, we're indoors and stuff, but we want to be with our friends, with our family. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of times where that wasn't possible. Like now, we've gone into another lockdown. We can't mix with other households. So, yeah, it's good that I have my family here, and I'm very grateful for that. But we want to see our friends and our family, man.
Yeah. Has there been moments where you've learnt about yourself during the lockdown period?
100%. Even with my relationship with God, it hasn't been as on point as I don't even like the word on point with relationship with God, because there's never a time where it's on point. We always need to seek for more and ask for more. But I've really, especially in the last few months, I found out how much I miss fellowship. I really miss being around believers. That's where I feel like I'm pumped. Like I'm more of an extrovert. You know what I'm saying? So I like being around people, especially when it comes to fellowship, man. I want to see people. I want to hear the word next to people, have conversations after service. Do you know what I'm saying? I really, really enjoy that, like physical fellowship. And I realized that, wow, okay, like, are you who you are meant to be without that? And I realized that, a lot of times I'm not. So it's been an eye-opener for me, man.
Has there been any moments where you feel it may have affected your mental? I don't like this term mental health, like saying it all the time, but has there been times when it's affected you mentally, like depression?
At the end of last year, I was made redundant, and I went into a depression, man. I was depressed. I remember speaking to my therapist, and he was asking me questions like, how's your sleeping? How do you feel about this, that? And it came out that I was having depression and suicidal thoughts last year. So it was a difficult season, man. Difficult season. But I can only say God has kept me through that, man. God, and being able to speak to people like my therapist. Therapy's been huge for me. Like we talk about it, and I know you started therapy as well. It's been a lifesaver, man, for real.
100%.
So that was something that kept me going.
What was going through your mind that was causing you to spiral? Was it because your daughter had been born, especially?
No, it was I lost my job a month before my daughter came.
Wow.
Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, as the man and the provider of the house, it's like, where do I even go from here? Do you know what I'm saying? And I thought it wasn't circumstantial, that it wasn't because of that, but that had a huge part to play in it. And I just thought, where am I going to go from here? What am I going to do? There's just, it's peak period, man. Peak periods around that time last year. Yeah.
What was you saying to yourself during that period of time?
It's better for me not to be here. It's just better for me not to be here. It would be better for everyone else for me not to be here. But that's kind of the escape route that I wanted to take. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I've seen my screen. It went black. I don't know how it did that, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying it's better. Why would it have been better if you weren't here?
With everyone that has suicidal thoughts, it's never really on other people. It's mostly on themselves. Like, if I was here, it'd be better off for everyone else. Or if I wasn't here, it'd be better off for everyone else. It's never, it'd be better off for me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's always like, I'm feeling like if I'm not here, then people around me wouldn't have to go through the kind of pain of me having to have no job or no salary, or do you know what I'm saying? It's always on, like, they will be better off without me, kind of thing. Yeah, so it's mostly that's what I was mostly thinking about. You know, when you're thinking, I just don't want to be here. A lot of times also it's just this whatever pain or just heavy sensation that you're feeling. I want it to go. I don't want that anymore. The only way is to take my own life. But then you're faced with how will I take my own life?
Wow.
And then I'm like, I'm not brave enough to because this is stuff that therapy asks. And they ask in therapy, they say, okay, how do you plan on taking your life? And I'm like, well, I thought about ropes. Okay, what have you thought about ropes? How do you want to get it? Well, I have to get money and buy it, and then I have to tie it in a certain way. I didn't have the strength to get even to that. It was just the thought of ending it all, but not how to end it all. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah.
What got you through that? Because some people don't make it. You're saying you kind of got through that, but some people don't make it to that side. What got you through to the other side?
Therapy, man. Therapy, and a lot of times it's when you're going through a time of depression and suicidal thoughts. It's just so dark. So, you know, and the normal person would say, "Oh yeah, God got me through," and he did get me through, but he used things like therapy in order to keep me going. You know what I'm saying? Therapy's been huge for me this whole pandemic, man. It's been a pillar for me. Yeah.
How did, because it must be shocking a bit for Debo to hear that, how did she kind of feel about that and respond to that?
She understands because she's been through depression. She battles with anxiety as well, so she understands when I have conversations like that. So it's nothing new to her. It's not a shocker to her. But, you know, also I didn't want to be a burden on her because during that time she was pregnant. So I didn't want to be too, you know what I'm saying? So that was another thing that I had to kind of keep to myself. And then one day we was driving and it just came out and I told her I'm depressed, man. And I spoke to my therapist and this is what was said, and, you know, I was diagnosed. So she understands. She helps me, asks me how I am, if there's anything I want to talk about, if there's anything I don't want to talk about. Also speaking to my brother-in-law as well. He's someone who went through it. So yeah, it's something that I'm grateful that I have people to speak to about it and not shy away from it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. What then would you say you're most looking forward to after COVID?
Performing. I miss performing, bro. Don't you miss performing? Like being on stage, bro.
Yeah, I said to someone.
Or even just doing sit-down lives. Don't you?
Yeah, no, it's right. I said to someone that for artists, COVID might help them in a weird way, because once they can touch stage, if you were rubbish at performing before, you will give it your all because people have been waiting for it. But yeah, for you, it's performing and connecting with a crowd.
Yeah, I miss performing. I really wanted to do a show for my album. Like, I'm gutted, man, because I released it at, I couldn't say a wrong time because I feel like every time everything happens for a reason. But I miss performing and just being able to perform the songs that I've wrote down and did in the studio. Do you know what I'm saying? I haven't done one album performance since the album came out. Not one.
Wow.
Actually, I have online, a few online, but I haven't done one live stage show since the album came out, and this, you know, in 2 months it will be a year since the album came out. So
oh my gosh,
I don't know if I should move on or just hold on to that until we can do a proper show, or do both.
Yeah, probably do both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get on to that. I mean, to everyone that's joining us, big up to you. Thank you for joining us. This is 21 Questions with A Star, and this is the Sit Downs Insta Live platform. Right about now, like, if you think this conversation and what we're going to be talking about can help anyone, use the functions at the bottom of the screen to send it to different people. Send it to as many people that you feel can, you know, benefit from it. I wanted to ask you about this music, this album in particular, because it was your debut album. Do you know what I'm saying? And I know firsthand, when it's your debut album, it's not a joke. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
Yeah.
So one thing that's not a joke is the investment that you have to put into it, especially financially. And I wanted to ask, like, how much, if you look at the total number, how much does it cost to produce and make this album?
Definitely over. If we're thinking about buying beats, studio time, mix and mastering, you're speaking definitely over 6K.
Wow.
Yeah, with videos.
Yeah.
You're speaking about definitely over £6,000 to £7,000 of my own money in a space of an amount of time. Yeah.
And how do you determine? How, you know, when you've got these figures that you need to make up, you've got to pay this producer, you've got to pay this engineer. How do you weigh up whether this is all worth it? Because we're going to put $6,000 into this, and business-wise, you're thinking, okay, what's my return on investment? How do you know that it's going to give you a return on investment?
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. And I think that's all part of being an independent artist as well, and not having a label or any investors behind you. Because I always say that this is, you know, 3 years in the making of this album that could have actually been done in 3 months if the money was there.
Yeah.
If I've got 10K or 12K in my account now, and someone says, here's 12K, do your next album, I know what producer I want to call, how much I want to give them, what studio I want to book, what features I want to get. Well, that comes, you know, during the album, but I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me here's 12K, you've got 3 months to do an album, you'll get an album. But because that's not the case, you know, having to work full time at the time, it was 3 years in the making. That's got tunes, some tunes that don't even make it on the album. But I make sure I don't like wasting tunes. I don't like sitting on tunes that never come out. I like to make sure that tunes that all come out that are done are all, you know, there. On the album, I think there was about 2 songs or 1 song that I didn't use. The rest was, this is what I'm making for the album. Even some of them was ideas, and then we cut it down and said, no, Off My Chest 3 wasn't supposed to be the outro of the album. It was supposed to be like a worship song. And then it was like, nah, it's just a worship song won't really fit like that. Not to say my music isn't worship, but the kind of style of what I want to make.
Definitely.
And then when me and Alex E said, let's end it on Off My Chest 3 and then do it as well at the end of that. So, yeah.
What would you say after releasing the album? What was your thoughts after, just before that midnight striking? What were your thoughts? What was running through your head?
I was on Instagram Live. I was on Insta Live. During the time prayer, I always pray before or during or just after midnight or the release. Always prayed, Lord, let someone be encouraged by my music. Let someone be able to relate to it. Let it be able to meet someone's story. Always pray before a release. And it's just excitement. I actually just like to post, listen to what everyone else is listening to. Obviously, you've heard it a better time.
Yes.
I go and buy it myself.
And
listen to it just like it's someone else's album. And then that's till like 1 a.m. And then the buzz goes down, the adrenaline goes down, go to sleep. Next morning, that's when you wake up to all the messages and the posts and, you know, the phone calls of what people think of the album. So I like that period, release time. It's like, man, like this is like the answer of everything that I've been doing in the last 3 years.
True.
The only thing is, though, we live in a very microwave generation. So it's like, firstly, people like feel like they can review an album within one listening to it in the space of 45 minutes to 50 minutes, and then like, yeah, it's a classic or it's dead. It's like, you can't make that decision in that.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
You have to sit down with albums. I'm guilty as well. And now I thought, I listened to an album and I'm like, oh, I don't like this album. And then I'm like, months later or weeks later, I'm like, this album's sick. I did that with KB's album. KB's album came out a few months ago, and I was like, but this is just a bunch of worship songs remixed to rap songs. And then and that's the first thing. And I phoned my friend. I was like, "Have you heard KB's album? It's rubbish." And then I sat down with it. I'm like, "This is a sick, very, very good album. Very good album." So I make that mistake as well. The second thing is the microwave generation. We listen to an album, and then next week they'll say to you, "When's new music coming out?" And it's like, brother, have you not heard the last 3 years of work that I've put into this project? You better sit with it. People need to be able to sit with albums for at least a year. At least.
True, quite true.
Don't ask an artist where music is for at least a year. If you got people like Dr. Dre's and that, people are still waiting on these detox albums till today. Yeah. But even your Kendricks, your J. Cole's, these are guys that you don't really see them on socials like that. When you do, they've got something to promote. After that, they're back in a lab creating what they're doing. But you have to sit with their album. You've got no choice but to sit with their album for a good year or two. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, with COVID coming, how did you navigate, or how did you think you were going to start to navigate as an artist? Because you're a creative artist, but everything is locked down. You can't do shows. Studio is difficult unless you've got a studio in your yard. How have you been creating? Have you been creating?
I haven't. No. Wow. I haven't created. I haven't written bars. I've written a few lines here and there. I'm preparing my 2020 freestyle. Imagine, I do every year 2-0, but I haven't done 2-0-2-0. That's mostly because I put it out at the beginning of the year, and I thought the album's coming out in March, so let the album land and then bring it out at the end of the year, and then boom, COVID breaks. Yeah, but I want to bring it out this year to just express what happened last year, and then that might be the end of the 2-0 series. I don't know yet. If it's not, then I'll carry on into 2-0-2-1.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But honestly, my creativity has been poor. But home has been a priority. Baby girls here. But now I've literally just started building my office/studio space at home in our second room. Literally today, like I've got the table today. The chair arrives tomorrow. Hopefully next week I can get my speakers and then invest in a good sound card and mic. Good to go. Esso's always down my neck. Get your studio at home. Get a studio. Because me and Esso, we've been talking. Yeah. And there's, tunes that we want to do. And I'm like, bro, I need to go studio. He's like, bro, get your equipment at hand. And everyone that has their stuff at home tells me that it's one of the best investments you can have. As long as you know how to, press record on Logic and save that, and you can send it off for mixing. It's one of the best things you can do. So I give in now, and I'm definitely going to do it, because I know, especially because I don't know how long this lockdown is going to be for. So
I think that thing you mentioned about creative, that not having like a creative spark or not being able to write or anything. When I did the album, I haven't written anything since September 2018. Yeah, I haven't written anything, and I think because like you said, the other my daughter was coming, so the other priorities that were coming in place they seemed much more weighty in my mind to be writing bars. So now, even I was speaking to Triple O the other day, and I mentioned it, and he said, you know what, just put on beats in the background and just let it come. And I don't know, maybe I suggest that as well to you, just to get those, creative juices flowing and coming back again. Me, I don't know, I just I don't think I'm inspired to write right now. So I don't know. We'll see, man.
I believe there's a season for living and a season for writing.
True.
I believe that for me personally, how it works for me, it always happens after I bring out a project. I feel like that's all I've got. There's nothing, no more juice left in me.
Turn off the tap.
Yeah, that's it. Like Born and Raised is the best you'll hear from me. That's it. Do you know what I'm saying? I always feel like that after a release. 2017. When I did that, I was like, yo, this is one of my best freestyles ever. I don't know how I'm gonna top this. Until the idea for 2018 comes, and until you start writing, until you go studio, you're like, okay, cool. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the season I'm in now. I literally, after the album came out, I was drained. COVID started. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to bring out another song ever. And then you've got the battle with your mind of give up, stop doing music. Who's even listening? Did you even chart? Did you even get nominated? Did you even blah? Do you know what I'm saying? All of that runs through my mind as an artist. And then I'm just like, you know what? I don't know. Yeah. And then
and has that ever happened?
It's been happening the whole of 2020. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been happening the whole of 2020 up until today. It happens. I'm like today. I'm like a kid in the house. My wife's telling me, "Wow, she's like you're like a kid," because I went to get the table today, and then I brought it to the house and I set it up upstairs in the guest room, and then the chairs coming tomorrow, the comfy chair with the wheels and all that stuff. So I come and got one of the dining chairs to bring up. So she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I just want to see the level." She's like, "You know the level. You've sat near that table before. And you're like a kid." And, yeah, I'm saying so. I feel like I'm getting.
That's
and when
funny.
the speakers arrive and all that stuff, and I get a mic, and I know that hopefully that will encourage me to get back into it. More time you just need. Have you got a studio at home?
No.
More time you probably just need that right there.
But you know, I can't record at home.
Serious.
I need to go to, because then my mind is like, right, I'm here. I got a 2-hour session. Let's get cracking.
Do you write in studio?
I can't. I have to write home and rehearse it at home, and then go to studio. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask, what have you therefore learned about the music business? Because it's music, yes, but in all your years of releasing music, and especially with the album, we know that it's not just the art. It's not just a case of recording, putting it out there. There's so much that has to go into it. So I wanted to ask you, what have you learned about the music period and business in your period of creating?
Man, I've learned a lot. Obviously, especially during COVID, connecting with people. I'm like, sending my album to people and things like that. I've learned that the business, it's an interesting place. More time people really do want to see how much views are getting on your videos and how much streams you got on Spotify for them to even blink an eye or open an ear to listen to your music. I feel like when it's industry and business, it's long. But when it's artists and supporters, that's what keeps me going. That's all I can say. When it comes to my music, it's the 10 people that are listening to your music and are riding for you. I can tell you a solid 20 people that are solid, bro. Every video I bring out, they're commenting, they're sharing. Every song or freestyle I put out, they're commenting and sharing. Every show that I'm doing, I'm seeing them at the front rows. All of that. Even that person that came to sit down, bro. This person has been at all of the festivals that I've performed at.
Wow.
And the last one that I did, she gave me, she got a drawing done of one of my pictures. And on the back of it, it was a message in regards to what my music means to her. And it's like encouraged her in suicide during her suicidal thoughts and all that, bruv. That means more than anything, bruv. Any nomination, anything, bruv. That connection that you have with the supporter that supports you, and that that my music has connected with this person. There's no other feeling like that, bro. So putting the business and stuff to the side, of course, business is very important. Having your, people working with you as a team. But at the moment, I'm doing everything independent. I have no manager, no label, nothing. But I do have solid people that I know support me. My DJ, Selenki, anywhere I go, he will say I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Money or no money, he says I'm there. People like my wife, people like my friend Nikayla. Every festival I'm doing, I've got my core team there, and I know that they got me. Do you get what I'm saying? I see that with you as well, with your concerts that you do, with the sit down. It's always the same core team I see with around you. Them people will ride for you, bro. If it's not for them, there's no you.
At all.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, at all.
So that's important, man. Very, very important.
True. Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. I always say it's impact over numbers. Impact over numbers. The impact is going to be what is there when you go and you pass on. That impact that you left is your legacy, you know. I want to ask about your music, like you talked about. It has a message and it has a meaning. And there are times when I see it being used at its highest level, where you use the music to communicate a message. You communicate about your faith. You communicate about your marriage, your life. But one area you always also use is about sickle cell and making that aware. And with your song Hidden Pain, guys, if you haven't heard the song Hidden Pain or seen the video, type it into Google, YouTube, and definitely after this watch it. But you, last year, off the back of the album and the promo, that was a song that you really, really ran with. And I wanted to ask why. Why did you choose that song as you know, something to really lead on and spread awareness about sickle cell?
I always knew I was going to do a tune about sickle cell. I just didn't know when and how and what it would sound like until I heard the keys playing at the beginning of Hidden Pain or during the song. I said, this is the track. I just knew that it would be that kind of song.
And who was it produced by again?
Alex E.
Alex E as well, okay.
Yeah. Alex E did like 75% of the album. He produced a lot of tracks on the album. But when I did Hidden Pain, we was in a studio producing. That Hidden Pain was like from early 2019.
Okay.
Late 2018, early 2019. It was a long time ago, but I just knew when this comes out, it's going to come out at the perfect time. No, it's like early 2018 because it came out 2019, if I'm correct. Yeah, so early 2018, late 2017. I was sitting on it for a good year and a half, but building, trying to get the right hook, all of that stuff. We even had originally had a choir on it, and then, you know, things happened and all of that. But with Hidden Pain, I always knew I was going to do a track about sickle cell, but I knew that it wouldn't just be, hey guys, I've got this illness and blah blah. It was going to be hard hitting and deep, like you was going to feel it. And when I did the track, I said, this is it. When I heard the hook, Leke and Becca Fox came studio and they wrote the hook, and they big up them for life, man. And they wrote the hook and they vocaled it. And then I sent it to another singer saying, can you sing this? And he said, bruv, they sound sick on it. So I kept it like that. And I was like, this is perfect. When I heard the tune and it was done, I said, this needs a video, but I can't be doing a video of just me walking through the park performing this song. I have to be in a hospital bed. People have to feel that pain in the video, to the sense where it has to be uncomfortable. That's what I wanted. That's the word that came to my mind. Uncomfortable. It has to be uncomfortable when someone watching this video, and that's exactly what it was. We was going around in circles, hollering at hospitals. I went to my hospital where I get my transfusions. Please, I need a room just for a few hours. Shoot, no, we get this permission, blah blah blah. Eventually went through NHSBT, partnered with them. Great woman, Melissa Therms. You know, she runs. She's a social media manager for NHSBT. So we partnered, and then, you know, they said they'd help me out. Got hold of someone who knew someone else who knew a kind of executive at a big hospital, University College Hospital in London. And he heard my track and he said, this is amazing. We want to give you a whole floor. So I went to UCLH Hospital, and I had it was in a cancer section of the hospital, and it was on a Saturday and they were closed. So from like 11 a.m. till, I don't know, we finished around 4 or 5. We had the whole floor to ourselves.
Wow.
And after that, he wanted to meet me. He got me a nurse. We stayed great friends. A nurse that you see in the video, she's a real nurse. She works on that ward as well. And yeah, so it was honestly just a testimony, man. Like God really came through with that. Kevin Hudson as well.
Yes.
He did an amazing video. And for the second part as well, where we had the people who had sickle cell who were featured in the video, I remember just putting out a post saying, I've got an exciting project. If you have sickle cell, you know anyone that has sickle cell, please holler at me, comment on this post or DM me. And I got tons of DMs, over like 100 DMs. And I sent them the private link of Hidden Pain on SoundCloud, because I don't want to invite anyone to a video and they're like, if I come to video shoot and it's a ABC track and it sounds like how you coming fast kind of track, and it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I had to let them know what kind of track it was and the kind of pain. I'm wearing this together. This tune is for us. So I sent them a private link and I said, this is the song, this is the day of the shoot. I'd love for you to come down. And we met up at, Ecclesia Church, my church. And then we filmed outside. It was amazing, man. Real good.
When you pressed the button on that and that was uploaded and that was blasted out, what was the response like?
That was my most responsive song to date. Even till now, people talk to me about Hidden Pain, and that was out. That came out April 2019. And when the track came out, people were like, wow. But the day after, the video came out. And it's mad because my mum was in hospital around that time. No, my wife was in hospital around that time, and I went to visit her. And that midnight, the track came out, and I was on my way home. And then not that midnight. So the track was already out. That evening, the video came out, and I was on my way home alone. My wife wasn't well, and yeah, like I'm just getting floods of messages. But a lot of people were telling me, you know what, it's hard for me to watch it, so I'm not going to watch it yet. And people saying they cried when they watched it, and all of that kind of stuff. It brought out the emotion that I wanted it to bring out. I wanted it to be that uncomfortable feeling of watching the video of there's a guy suffering in the hospital bed. What's going on? A woman's pushing him on a wheelchair, and there's other people. Some people knew people in the video. Some people recognize faces of. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring out, and so I'm very, very proud and grateful for that song, man. For real. Yeah.
For those who have heard about sickle cell anemia but never really understood it, in a snapshot way, describe what it is.
Sickle cell anemia is a hereditary disease that affects mostly the Black community, affects Asian and white too, but mostly the Black and Asian community, mostly the Black community. Over 14,000 people in the UK have sickle cell. This is a hereditary disease that comes from the parents, genetics, and it's a disease that affects the red blood cells. So usual red blood cells are round shape and they carry oxygen around the body. People who have sickle cell, full-blown sickle cell, most of their red blood cells are sickle shaped, like a crescent, like half a moon. And, in times of excruciating, extreme conditions like cold weather or too much stress or overexhaustion, what will happen is the red blood cells that are crescent shaped, it's difficult for them to flow around the body, and they get clogged up and they get stuck and sticky in one place, which means the red blood cells can't flow and carry oxygen around the body, and it causes excruciating pain when you go through a crisis, which could be in your leg, arm, chest, anywhere that blood is flowing in your body. It could cause serious decay in bones. I had a lack of blood flow going to my left hip bone at the age of 23, and a few days after my 25th birthday I had a left hip replacement. So this is something that affects a lot of people, especially Black people. So what I get now is every 6 weeks I get an exchange transfusion, which is where they take blood from me and they give me blood. It's a long process. And my veins in my arms are weak, so I get a femoral line, which is a line that has to be put in my groin, and that has to be surgically input. So they put local anesthetic around the area, cut it open, put a tube in, do a whole X-ray thing. They got to find the main vein that's next to the artery in my groin, and then they you know, put the tube in there, seal it up, send me upstairs. I get a transfusion done where they take blood and give me blood. The blood that's given to me comes from donors. This is why we always encourage people to give blood, not just that, but for Black people to give blood. Black people here in the UK, it's important for us to give blood. You know, the statistic says only 1% of Black people in the UK give blood. So that is, yeah, something that is peak. But yeah, that's a bit of a small presentation of what sickle cell is. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. And what are some of the myths and I guess the lies around that people have around giving blood that makes it so low in percentage?
When it comes to people giving blood, there's always 3 top reasons that you hear. One of them is needle phobia. A lot of people are scared of the needle, scared of seeing blood, anything like that. People are scared of it, they don't like it. Number 2 is where's my blood gonna go? Is the conspiracy theorists come out. Where is my blood gonna go? What they're gonna use it for, and blah blah. So they don't give blood because of that. Number 3, there's actually a lot of people that actually do sign up to give blood but don't turn up to their appointments. You know, there could be a huge gap, like 3 months, and you know, you'll do something like watch a hidden pain video in January, and yes, I'm signed up to give blood. By the time February comes, you're like, yeah, I'm still gonna go, yeah, and then March comes and like, no, I can't make it. So a lot of times, that, you know, I've been told that when people sign up, they don't turn up. So, you know, that's most of the reasons why people don't give blood.
I remember I'd watched Hidden Pain and you spoke about it, and I was gonna give blood, and then because my daughter was coming, we were doing regular blood tests and everything, and I found out I had a trait, so I couldn't give blood.
You can give blood with the trait.
But even with this trait, even if it's small?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
But I don't think it will go to people who have sickle cell, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Okay, because the nurse said to me I couldn't, but may I go back her up and tell her, yo. You took this message to so many different platforms, and it was beautiful to see Channel 5 News, Chucky's Halfcast podcast. You was on ITV. You was in the Metro, Huffington Post. What was it like being on like these major platforms that you maybe have not been on for music before? And One Extra, what was it like being on those platforms and speaking?
It felt natural.
And you really seemed natural. Like some people have to have media training, but you just seemed.
It felt like I was going on there to have conversations about what I've been going through since the age of 5.
Wow. So
imagine you've constantly gone to school, and what's been your experience at school? Go to school, meet with my friends, study, do an exam. Go to school, meet with my friends, study, do an exam. Lunchtime, football friends. After school, go to friend's house, chill, blah blah. You've done that for a whole 25 years of your life, or 18 to 20 years of your life, and then you're being asked, how was that? You know what I'm saying? So it's literally me going on platforms, people telling me, how's your experience being with sickle cell? But it's mainly when people ask me what is sickle cell, that I've had to kind of fall back and say, wow, okay, I struggle with this, and I battle with this, and I've been through numerous surgeries because of this, and I you know, this is what I go through in my everyday life. But what is it? What exactly is it? So now I had to read up, ask questions. Every day I'm learning. Like when I went on Channel 5, I went on with Melissa Firma again. She's from NHSBT, and she was talking about the RO subtype. And at that time, I was like, what the heck is that? And that's a specific blood type that Black people have that is the best blood for people with sickle cell. So if you have the RO subtype, I encourage you to go and give blood, because people like myself really benefit from that. And when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, read up on that. Now I understand what it is. So there is a side where I have to do research, where you have to do, you know, statistics, like the 1% of Black people. You won't know about that until you read up about it, or until someone tells you. But things like that. And then again, meeting up with people like Sickle Cell Society. I performed at their 40th anniversary last year, and you know, meeting people there and getting to have having conversations and research as well. But most of it was natural because it was my life. Like going on One Extra for DJ Ace, it was great because I watched this guy on TV, like Channel U, listen to his radio shows, and I got to plug my music. most importantly, thank God that got to kind of mold with the sickle cell. And it's crazy because I feel like at the time I was like, just be like in my time of doing music with a Christian message in it, I've always been like, they're not going to play gospel on Kiss or BBC One Extra and blah blah, until you get to do a track that's like, wow, I'm able to implicate the gospel of how God keeps me in my time of sickle cell.
Yeah.
I'm able to join that together, and they're listening. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I had to really, it was a big eye opener for me, huge eye opener. Yeah.
How can people check what blood type they are, and if they do have any traits of sickle cell? How can they go about doing that?
Yeah, so there's difference between blood type and blood genotype. So there's genotype, which is AS, which is the trait, which is what you have, SS, which is full-blown sickle cell, which is what I have, and AA is nothing. And then there's a blood type, which is I'm O positive, and then there's, you know, O negative and all of that kind of stuff. That's a blood type. So the blood type that I get, it's important that when they come and give me blood, they always ask me, name, date of birth, and your blood type. And then I'm O positive. If I'm O positive and they give me O negative blood, see what I'm saying? So it's important to know that. But your genotype, as a black person, ask your GP, your nurses, who you go and see regularly, can I get a genotype test, blood test to find out your genotype? A lot of people don't find that until later on in life. I know people 30 plus that find out they've got the trait or whatever. Also, people don't find out until they have children, and then they get tested, or they find out their children have sickle cell, and they're like, oh, I didn't know. That was for me. My mum has full-blown sickle cell. My dad has the trait. They didn't find out about theirs. I think my mum knew, but didn't know in depth until they had me. And then I've got full-blown sickle cell now, which is the result of two ignorant people coming together. Not calling my parents ignorant, but they were ignorant at the time. But a lot of it is kind of being naive and being ignorant. So now that we know, I always say you've got no excuse now. People that you're getting with, whoever you choose to marry, whoever you're in a relationship with, if you're in a position where you sleep around or whatever, it's important to have that conversation. You have to have that conversation. You've got no excuse now, because I know that what I've been through with sickle cell, in and out of hospital, spending birthdays, New Year's, Christmas in hospital, always being ill, you know, times where I was in the hospital, same time as my mum, leaving my bed to go and see her in her ward, going through all that. I can't now say that, yeah, I'm just going to get with anyone loosely, not have the conversation. And if she has sickle cell, I don't care, because I know how I was affected. So I can't even imagine my daughter going through half of the things that I went through with my health. So in my conversations in relationships, I always made sure that's a conversation I had. Same thing with my wife. When I met her, we had that conversation. I have sickle cell. What's your genotype? She told me at the time she was AA. That's what her mum told her. She got tested again, and she was AA. If we had got to a point where we was even engaged or whatever, and I heard that she was AS, she had the trait, I would have had to back off personally, because I know how it can affect the next generation.
Me and my wife had the same. We, when we were having my daughter, we were having tests here and there. And then, they did a test and they said I had the AS trait. I was like, huh? And in my history from my parents, I've never ever heard that ever be mentioned at all. And so they said that we had a 1 in 3? I think it's 1 in 3 chance of our daughter having, sickle cell. But, we happened to be to 1 not in 3, and, she didn't have it. But just like you said, it's important, I guess, for people to ask these questions early, to get these tests early, even if you have a car crash or whatever, God forbid. But for you to be on that scene, whether it's on your iPhone medical part, knowing, okay, yeah, I'm O positive, or whatever you might be, but just having that information, because then you, like you said, are less ignorant, you know what is happening, and you know what you're getting into. It's so important, man, so important. Cool, big up to everyone. Again, 1 in 4, my wife said. Big up to everyone that is joining us, man. I can't even see it.
It froze for me, man. Like,
oh, so you can't see comments?
Yeah, I can't see how many people watching, comments, nothing. So sorry, guys, I can't see.
You must have a Samsung. It's probably your Samsung.
No, I've got an iPhone. When it went dark, like, it locked off. I don't want to lock off and come back in. But I don't. Yeah,
that's all right.
So it's cool. So you could tell me what people are saying.
Oh yeah, some people were saying to get checked. Some people were saying, yeah, that's definitely important, and that you can check for your blood test, like for your GP as well. Yeah, yeah. Big up everyone's joining us. Been here for about an hour. That's cool. We're going to just take on a few more questions, and then I'll let you go. But you are a husband.
Yeah.
3 years now, isn't it?
3.5. Yeah.
3.5.
So
I've got in my kitchen right there. I've got the tea towel. Ali and Debo, 2017.
That's the aunties that did that, boy. That were us, man. You know the Nigerian aunties that go around giving souvenirs.
Yeah,
I like that, though. I like that culture, man. It's sick.
I wanted to ask you, in those 3 years, what has it been like? What's marriage like on the other side? A lot of people aspire to it, but what's the reality of it?
Marriage is a beautiful. Can you hear baby crying?
Yeah.
So Deborah's upstairs, so I don't know if she will have time to come.
That's all right. That's good.
I did tell her though, but yeah, it seems like baby's unsettled. Marriage is a beautiful journey. On journeys, you have bumpy rides, you have brick walls, you have roundabouts, you have hurdles, you have sting nettles and all of that stuff that you go through on journeys. But every time you come out of it, or you jump over it, or you break through the wall, you come out stronger, and you come out better, and you come out more refined. Marriage is beautiful, but it's difficult. I always say it's one of the most sanctifying processes that God could bring you through is marriage.
Yeah.
You're with someone for the rest of your life. You don't always agree. You're not the same person. You know this. You are you. She is her. And in that, there's so many different upbringings and cultures that I've had, upbringings and cultures that she's had, and then we're here now, and we're like, well, I've done this all my life, and I've done this all my life, and this is how I was raised, and this is how I raised, and this is how my trauma affected me and made me who I am today. This is how my trauma, and we're both coming with our bags, and we're having to leave both our bags at the foot of the cross and look at ourselves in the mirror and say, how can I be a better person for this person who I'm looking at? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So many amazing things have come out of marriage. I wouldn't be the man I am today without, marriage and meeting my wife, and becoming a father as well. It's lit, man. I feel like it's an endless sleepover. When you sleep over with friends, watching movies, eating popcorn. Like one of my favorite moments in life, sitting on my sofa with my wife and my child, and watching Netflix. Chomping on popcorn. It's lit, bro. But yeah, marriage is beautiful. Traveling together, seeing the world together, meeting new people, meeting each other's family and friends, traveling with friends, making new friends, making new single and married friends. Having friends over. I love hosting, so just having friends over, holding events, going to events. It's marriage is great. To be able to experience all that with someone else is beautiful, man. Yeah.
Olufemi said marriage goes through ebbs and flows. It goes through progress. What do you say? Progress in different stages.
Indeed, yeah.
You talked about that coming together of different cultures and different understandings, and that you're not always going to agree. And I wanted to ask, what's one of the fiercest arguments you've had? Fierce. And what was it over?
Parents. Yeah, parents. Stuff that I grew up an only child in my mum's household. I've got siblings, but they're all on my dad's side. So I'm the eldest of 6 on my dad's side, but I'm my mum's only child.
Okay.
So I grew up things being done. I wasn't spoiled. I wouldn't say I was spoiled. My wife wouldn't say I was spoiled, but my mum is someone who loves hard. And I had to make that break, create that barrier where it's like, Mum, you're my mother. I'm married to someone now.
Yeah.
And it's caused some big arguments in our household where I've had to grow up and say, and smell the coffee and not just say, oh, it's not that deep. She's just like that because, you know, it is that deep because it could break my marriage. You know what I'm saying? So I've had to face myself in the mirror, face my mum and say, and just be real about a lot of things. You will respect my marriage. You will respect our boundaries, this and that, because a man shall leave his father and his mother and become one with his wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times I had to learn that in a difficult way. That's one of the biggest arguments we've had in the household.
Yeah.
Tough arguments. Tough. In another country and you're arguing. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, other things as well. But you live and you grow. She's come with her traumas of what she's seen in her household. She's the eldest of 6. They were all in the house together. So they've gone through their traumas. So she's brought that to the household. And that's been another thing in our household. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing of marriage is 2 broken people coming together. That's what I don't know if people have this, guys,
romantic
single people that are listening that want to get married don't have this mindset of I'm going to get married and my life is going to become perfect and it's going to be rosy. You're coming together with another broken person who has their brokenness that they're coming with, who has their traumas and their pains that they're coming with, and you're coming with yours as well. And you're just winging it. We always say every anniversary, happy anniversary, another year of just winging it. Do you know what I'm saying? But winging it, we're saying that we're just, not that we're just, you know, walking around blindfolded, but we're just like, you know what, God, take it, man. Because if it's up to us, divorce. If it's up to us, separation. It's gone. But God, you just, Lord, you take it, man. You take it, because if we're focusing on you, then we're able to move forward. But if we're in our stubborn, sinful, carnal mindsets, then we ain't gonna go far.
Yeah. How has, you know, you building that nucleus of you 2 strong, getting through the trials, coming up, enjoying yourselves, enjoying each other's company, learning, building, How does now a child come into that change? Has it changed the dynamic of you 2?
100%, because obviously we've gone through the journey of not just a child being here, but us trying for a while. You know, I'm someone who don't shy away from speaking about it in my music. If you heard Off My Chest, you would have heard that I spoke about us having miscarriages, and that being another thing that's added to the pressure of things going on in marriage. So it's not just, yes, the child is here, it's man. Thank you, Lord, because we went through rough times, man. We did. Do you know what I'm saying? So we look at our daughter and we're like, man, you don't even know that we've been praying for you. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just the joy of seeing her now. It's just beautiful, man. Beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait till you meet her. You haven't met her yet, man.
Yeah, I haven't met her yet, no.
You haven't met her. I can't wait till you meet her. Honestly, she's just a ray of sunshine. And I think that is, you know, it does have its difficulties. You know, being a parent, you know, waking up at all sorts of times in the night to change a nappies to feed her. It's a beautiful thing, but it's not easy. Yeah.
And going through, Deborah's upstairs, isn't it?
Yeah, she's upstairs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What was it like for you? With how many miscarriages was it?
It was a lot. So in the song Off My Chest 3, I said it was free, and at that time it was free.
Wow.
At that time it was free. We had a few more after.
What does jeez. What is it like as the husband watching your wife go through this? Because yes, it's happening to both of you, but it's also happening to you 2 individually through what you're going through.
And her more because it's her physically.
Exactly.
You know, so she's having to feel that pain of loss physically, and I'm feeling it mentally and emotionally. Yeah. It's unexplainable, man. It's loss. It's loss. It's mourning. It's really just, as a husband, I didn't. I every day we get to realize how prideful we are as people. As in, we say, when I get married and I have my 5 kids and I have my big house and I have the when people like when I get married, when I have my kids, I'm gonna know when fam, be grateful that there is a if the Lord wills. You have to grow up with that mindset. If the Lord wills, he will give me a wife. If the Lord wills, he will give me children. If the Lord wills, because sometimes, I'm sorry to say, guys, this might shake up some of your prosperity speakers, preachers' messages, but sometimes God might not give you a wife and children.
Yeah.
Sometimes God might not give you the house and the job that you want. Sometimes it might not happen. And guess what? The will of God is for you to know Jesus. Everything else is in his hands. Obviously, things like hard work. If you want a good job, you work hard, you study and all that stuff. Things like wife, things like children especially, because you don't have any power within yourself to say, child, come to life. You do not. God has that power. So for me, I could just sow the seed. I know that with having children, 2 people have to be intimate, sperm is exchanged, eggs, all of that stuff. That is the Lord's work.
Yeah. It's
the Lord's work. And for the child to be conceived, for the child to be kept for 10 months, it's not even 9, it's 10 months. And then for the child to be delivered, it's a miracle. I can't put that on myself. I can't say, yeah, we did that. I can't. I cannot. It's the Lord's work. So we always say, like, through our time of mourning and going through miscarriages, I've always just been like, God, we got to a point where it's like, God, even like when we felt pregnant in 2020, we was planning 2020, allow it, let's stop trying, go on holiday, enjoy it, do this, blah, blah. And then boom, we fall pregnant again. And so we just like, let's see. And then by God's grace, the child stayed, continued to grow. Even at my listening party, Deborah was pregnant. She was running in that the toilets, and when some of our friends found it, look, I knew it. You kept going to the toilet at the listening party. We knew it. We did. But yeah, when it comes to loss and mourning, as a man, I underestimated how it would make me feel as a man as well, because we just feel like it's the woman that goes through it. You both go through it together. But my priority was just sticking through it with her, man. Yeah. So,
but even when you said that, there's an element that
I know what you're gonna say.
You see what I'm saying? Because you immediately just said, you then pushed it onto her. But what about what you personally were carrying? Because you will be strong for her, but how were you strong? Who was strong for you? How did you
exactly? And that's why I started therapy. The company I was working for at the time, they offered me therapy because every time we're miscarrying, it's either getting to a point where we're missing work, and I'm having to support my wife, so I'm telling work I can't come in. Why? Miscarriage. Thank God it was a Christian organization where they're actually able to pray for us and support us in that time. Eventually they said to me, Ali, you need therapy. Pardon me. And I'm like, no, what am I going to therapy for? Like, I'm cool. You need to go to therapy. And they paid for my sessions. I had, since 2019 up until now, I've had about 18 sessions, all paid for by my work company. Wow. Even when I was made redundant and went through the depression part, they said, we're going to continue your sessions. And I'm coming into therapy because of the loss and the miscarriages. And then other doors are open to how I felt rejected because my dad didn't live with us back in the day. Like, how the heck did we get to that? I came to speak about miscarriages. How did we get to me feeling rejected in life and in places, and always feeling like I don't belong somewhere because I never felt like that with my household because I grew up in a broken home, but then, therapy gets to open so many rooms, but allows you to know more of yourself. And I feel like we both know ourselves more. We don't take anything for granted now. It's, if anything happens to us, it's the Lord's will. So I know that when I was made redundant, it was hard, went through depression, but it's the Lord's will. Whatever God does after that, he's going to do. And recently I've been feeling like God's opening doors for sickle cell advocacy. I'm holding clubhouse rooms. Someone from the BBC hollered at me. I'm about to do a documentary with the BBC on sickle cell. The Huffington Post hollered at me to do the sickle cell thing. And that's all since I got made redundant. I feel like, I don't know. Let's see in months, years to come. But I feel like there's a push in that direction. And yeah, wherever the Lord leads me, I'll go, man. But yeah,
that's beautiful.
I would encourage anyone who is married and seeking to be married, and these are realities of marriage that we need to talk about with single people that are engaged, because you'll be surprised at how many people struggle behind closed doors. And then we're having to come on social media. This one's posted their child, and they've posted their kid, and this and that, and a lot of it is like, that's why we also made a conscious decision. We respect all our friends and our loved ones who do post their children, but for us, there's some things we just got to keep for us and our friends. So not anytime soon. If we do, it'll probably be family photos. But for now, I don't think social media will be seeing my daughter's face. Yeah.
What was it like? What was it like knowing, she's born, she's at home, she's with you guys? What did it feel like being a father? Is it still surreal? Because it took me about... No, it hasn't taken... I'm still here. I'm still... I'll look at my daughter and I'll be like, me? But me?
Yeah.
Or she'll say, Daddy, and I'm like, yeah. How was it for you, especially after those miscarriages and everything?
Yeah, I haven't got to that daddy stage yet. She's like... She's like 12 weeks. And... she just started laughing. Like she's smiling, but in the last 3 days, we've heard her laugh, like how we laugh. Yeah, she's laughing like that.
She laughs like ha 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 ha. That's
no,
how she laughs.
But she laughs like the baby laugh kind of things where there's a thing where you smile but laughing. She just started laughing, so we're here laughing. And it's just like, wow, like we're taking every moment as it comes. But I remember, being in the hospital, and I filmed obviously the birth, and just seeing her come out. It's just, I felt numb. It's surreal. I nearly fainted as well. So, because I was filming like from the front, and I said, whoa, I went to the side. I had to take the seat on the windowsill for me. I said, nah, bro. If I stay here, I would have fainted. I don't want these nurses working on me, because I'm not the person who they need to be working on now. Yeah. But it's surreal, man. Still till today, I look at her and I'm like, man, this is my daughter. Like, it's not a child that I'm babysitting. It's not my goddaughter. It's not my sibling. This is my girl. And yeah, it's unreal, man. Unreal. You can't explain that feeling. It's different. You could, like, being a spouse, being a brother, being a cousin or whatever. It's got its beautiful things that come with that. But being a parent, different levels, man. Yeah.
How is Deborah coming into motherhood?
She's amazing. Honestly, that girl loves her mum. She's amazing. I always tell her, thank you. Like, I'm so proud of you, and she's a great mother, man, for real. Like, she holds it down. And, I think we just expect mothers to be super mothers and super women and stuff. And so I try my best to share the load. And it's not a burden to me, because, I hate when we say that, I'm babysitting. I can't babysit my own child. That's my child. You know what I'm saying? So we're both in this together. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing, man. She's great. Honestly, I can't say anything wrong at all in regards to how she is as a mother, man. It's beautiful to see, and I see her in a different light now. Do you know what I'm saying? I see her differently, like, yeah.
What's one thing that you really, really want your, we're going to kind of wrap it up now, but looking at a legacy, imagine your daughter's 25 years old and she's doing a documentary based on her success at whatever she's doing. What would you like her to say about her parents and her upbringing?
3 things. 1, my parents were imperfect believers in God. So imperfect believers. 2, my parents were real and kept it real with me at all times. Taught me how to love, taught me how to respect, and just taught me how to be real. 3, my dad was the best grime MC that touched this earth. That's success. What else is there to do? What else is there to do? I'll walk you down the aisle and you'll be playing grime, walking down the aisle. What? Come on, that's mission accomplished for me, bro. What else is there? You know what I'm saying? That's
and
it.
Uncle DWE's in the background.
Uncle Double's there. I spit at your wedding, and I'm like, listen, when I was your age, he was spitting at a wedding as well. So for me, my parents were imperfect, God-fearing people. 2, they were real, kept it real with me. They taught me how to love, respect, and appreciate. And my dad was the best grime MC that touched this earth. Gangster.
Make sure you keep all your CDs, any flyers you got.
100.
Yep.
Look,
Okay.
look what's on my windowsill. This is from
Snap.
Sit Down. This is when we did the JME show. And it says
snap.
here, bro, you continue to be an asset to the kingdom of God. Always remember, it's impact over numbers only. Thank you for sharing your talent. God bless your heart. I see. I keep things like this, man. And for real, bro. And she'll get to grow up and see that in her.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, man. Big up, man. Your last question is, do you have a question for me?
Yes.
Look at your face. I don't know
What's your vision with the Sit Down? Is there anywhere you see it? Like, do you have a place where you'll get there and you'll be like, this is what I envisioned when we first started the Sit Down?
Yes. Oh, hold on. Oh, gosh. That was my speaker. Yeah, I do, you know. Like, the vision for the Sit Down is, you know, the slogan is real lives, real conversation. We want to impact real lives and have real conversation. And my vision is it's a platform that if you want to come and connect with people and display your real self, your honest self, that you will know you have to come here. So people know that on their press run in America, if they want to do that, they might go on a Breakfast Club. That's somewhere they've got to go. Or they've got to go and sit down with Oprah. Or they've got to go and sit down with Letterman. I want to sit down to be that thing in your head that says, I want to take off all the layers. I really want people to see who the real person is and connect with people. I need to do the Sit Down. I need to hold out Icy because he'll be able to help me unpack that. So I really want us to have that voice and that brand that, you know, here, if you go there, you'll get the real deal of that person, but also it's an experience. So it's not just a guest.
There's a thing about seeing a creative, the person behind the creative.
Yeah. 100%.
There's a thing, when I came to Mo Gilligan's one, I saw that. When I came to Jeremy's one, I saw that.
Yeah.
There's a difference between seeing them performing and then seeing the person behind them. But bro, do you know, like, you've had that in you from time. Do you remember interviewing Monkstar at Jesus House?
Oh, snap, yeah.
And you sat down, I was there, you sat down with him, and this is where the...
That was the Take Notes launch?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, Take Notes EP, it might have been, I think so. But around that time, there was a lot of hype because Monkstar, we heard he got saved, and we heard the Armour from Nasty Crew got saved as well. And you got Monkstar in, and you interviewed him. And I was like, Icy looks in his element. That's one time I saw it. The second time I saw it is your interview with Julia Denuga. I don't know if people know, but Icy bought a project one time. And that was, I think, what mixtape was it?
That was the Phoenix.
It was the Phoenix mixtape, and you did a sit down with Julie Adenuga, but she was interviewing you.
Yeah.
But at that time, I said, this is what I see loves, and he just loves conversation. And obviously through our encounters and our conversations that we've had behind closed doors, you love conversation. And that's why music can never leave you. No matter if you say, oh, I haven't written a bar in 5 years or whatever, music will never leave you, bro. It's just going to be there because you're a writer and you're a speaker. So that's you in your element, bro. So, bro, I want to encourage you, man. Just keep going, bro. Like, I know that you're getting to open levels soon enough, and we don't have a talk show like that in the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't. The sit down is the perfect place for that. And you've got a strong catalogue now, from, you know, your JMEs to Mo Gilligan to Grace, Skepta's manager, solid people, and it's just growing and growing and growing. Lord knows what 2020 would have been like if it weren't for the pandemic. So thank God that for things like 21 Questions. But bruv, honestly, man, I see this going big. You're going to quit your job in a few years and
amen.
full time, bro. For real.
Trust me.
For real, bro.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for your time, and thank you for everyone that's come through and listen. Big up Becky. Becky's a regular, a loyalist. She's been on these religiously. Big up JK, been on it religiously. Olufemi, been on it religiously. These that are coming through. And my team, big up Brianna, big up my wife, and big up Bless. Like you said, that team, at the start of the lockdown, I messaged them. I said, fam, what are we going to do? Because I wasn't going to do nothing. I was going to be like, this is going to last, 3 weeks? The lockdown's going to last 3 weeks and we're back, so don't worry. But then I messaged them. I said, what should we do? And then they came up with this idea, just do it on, you know, Insta Live. And, you know, 21 Questions was born. So big up my team as well, because every single sit down we have done, bro, every single, if not for them, oh my Lord. So, you know, big up to them. So bro, that's why we're on Clubhouse. Yeah.
Last question. 3 people that you know that there's no limits. If you was to send them an email now, they'll say, yep, I'm coming to do sit down live in London with you. They could be from anywhere in the world. 3 people that you know that are on your vision board that one day I want to interview this person.
Don't make me bring out the vision board.
You don't have to show us the vision board. You know, oh, snap.
All right, let me read that for you. So, top of top.
That's number 1.
So anybody that's listening, if you have connects, you have to jump in my DMs. These are the 3 people. If I have them on the sit down, after it, I can stop.
Right.
I'm happy. Right. Number one, Letitia Wright. Number 1, Letitia Wright.
That's coming soon, though.
It's coming.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all.
I don't doubt it at all. Number 2, #Murky Team.
The whole team.
Toby, Storms, and Akua. Toby, Storms, Akua. I need those 3.
Who's Akua?
Akua is a silent ninja.
Serious?
She works in their camp behind the scenes, and she makes things happen. She made the Cambridge, is it Cambridge or Oxford? The scholarship.
Oxford,
she you know, she helped make that happen.
You know, and good in the team as well, Rachel.
Rachel Hansen.
That's
Rachel from Wired.
Yeah.
Wild PR.
The PR. Yeah.
And then last, this one I've been chasing for, I think it's going to come up to 2 years, but it will happen. Trap Star.
Oh.
So I want.
Look, you're saying that. Look.
Are you wearing Trap Star? Yeah, Trap Star have never sat down and told their story, and I think it's such a powerful, empowering, and inspiring story. So I'm chasing that every single day. Lee from Trap Star. If this video gets to you, I send him messages maybe every 2 weeks to say hi. So yeah, those three: Letitia,
Bro,
#Murky.
he sees you. Has he answered you?
Not yet.
He sees you, bro. I guarantee you.
He does.
There's gonna be a time where he says, "Now is the right time."
100% exactly. So that's when we just keep doing our thing until we're ready to go, man.
I love how they're all UK as well, man.
Make up the UK, man. There's so many untold stories in the UK, especially from the Black community, that I feel I really want us to tell. Like, why? All other communities definitely, but I think we have some stories here that can inspire young people. So I want to be able to tell them. But all will work within the right timing. John Boyega, we got, anyway, they're all coming. Bro, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I don't want to take you too much, because I know you've got your daughter. You're a father now, do you know what I'm saying? But always, it's always a blessing, because, like I said, you set the sit-down template is down to you. If you had been if you had been quite cagey and reluctant, which you could have been, that's not a problem. I think I would have left it thinking, can this thing really work the way I want it? But because you set the template, I knew that if A-Star can lay his heart on the table like that, then I can take that to everybody else and say, look, this is what the platform needs to be. So I'm really, 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 and thank you for that.
But you set the pace for that, bro. I think you're very intricate when it comes to details. So you ask people questions that not everyone will ask.
Okay.
So you had envelopes set out.
Oh yeah.
And they were lines from my songs.
Oh yeah.
And you
I've done that for so long.
Yeah, sick, bro, for real, man.
I've done it for so long. Big up, Deborah.
Yeah, go on to let me see if she's...
Say hello.
You okay? Yeah.
So guys, make sure you follow us, man. Follow us on this platform here. If you're not already, we're on Clubhouse and doing it. We're trying to do it every Monday, 9:30. On Monday, we're going to have a session called Alcohol and Me, looking at people's relationship with alcohol, especially through this COVID period and in general. So make sure you tune into Clubhouse, follow us on the Sit Down UK. DM us your feedback. If you're in here today and you watched it, I'd love to know how you found it. So DM us, send us a message, let us know how you found it, and make sure you're checking out all the other episodes. We've got 38, I believe it's 38, 38 episodes that you can just binge. You can binge on Netflix, you can binge on Amazon Prime, but we also want you to binge on the Sit Down. And you can do that through clicking the link in our bio and watching on our YouTube channel. All right, so guys, thank you so much. Big up A-Star, big up Deborah, big up
thank you, man.
Little girl. See you soon, and have a great one, bro.
Thank you, bro.
No problem. No problem. Guys, take care, and we'll see you next Thursday, 9 p.m. And we're going to be interviewing. I'm not even going to tell you. All right. See you then, guys.
Take care, bro. Right.
Take care.